they hate. And I know better than to listen to the people who are calling us names. I can feel the sunlight shining in.
There we are. Good morning, guys. First 2 minutes, I was covered up by my notes here. Didn't realize that I wasn't on the screen. Hey, thank you. Thanks, Free Wilder Life, for saying something. Appreciate that. Canadian Farmstead says the vertical feed was working. Yeah. Oh, boy. Yeah. It happens, guys. It happens. I forgot to flip on my screen. So with the change in the show and everything, I'm kind of popping around and doing different things, putting things on the screen different and rearranging things. And I had these big old notes here sitting right over my screen. And over my screen. And yeah, whoops, forgot to put myself right up there on the screen. So good morning. How's everybody doing? I'm going to skip the intro again, but what's in the cup today is some FTO Blonde Espresso, Food Forest Farms. You can grab that, foodforestfarms.com, with LOTS10 as your 10% discount code. Shipping is always free. The C4 Club is fantastic. Today, now that I'm on the screen, we'll be talking about a new shower. We're going to be talking about what to do with tree stumps and a little bit about the Grand Canyon, thanks to Rewilder Life. Sent me down that rabbit hole, so we're just going to scratch the surface on that, get a little, probably a little primer for a probably a little primer for a conspiracy theory episode, but we're going to talk about the Grand Canyon a little bit. Let's see. We'll probably hit the live chat again here and see who's in, since I was blanked out here on the main feed, and that's where everybody is. So anyway, good morning, Kat, over in the vertical feed. Start there. That's a one. Well, boys, how's your bag feeling? My bag is feeling fantastic. Thanks for asking. It is in fantastic shape this morning. How is your bag? Food Forest Farms in first. Coworker number 4 let us know that 1976, the Space Shuttle Enterprise is unveiled by NASA. Rewilded Life in Off-Grid Ping, good morning. And I talked a little bit about your pond and said all we need to do is get it sealed up because I think you got plenty of grade and drainage to fill that up during rainstorms. As long as we can figure out how to keep the water in the pond, we'll be doing great. Canadian Farmstead. Got some weird ad. Not sure. He's not sure what it is, and I'm not sure what he typed. Blakesley Acres, good morning. Rewilder Life. Is everyone in silence? Yes. Black screen. Yes. Mike's Homestead. Thank you for stopping in. Food Forest Farms. Jamie said he was stuck on an ad. Pip said black screen, black face. Details. Yeah, details for sure. Good morning, Jim. Thanks for popping in over on the Noster feed and now back over here. And Rewilder Life mentioned that she was going to be cleaning the closet out when during the show, multitasking. But now it looks like she's shifting gears and dropping that and hitting some breakfast and coffee before she hits the purge. So. Scott Farkas over in the vertical feed says, hey man, it's nice to see the first homosexual streamer. I mean, thanks. I appreciate the support. Now, if only I liked the cock. Hunter, good morning on Twitch. Thanks for popping in. Appreciate that. Excuse me. Before we get going, we'll do an update on the shoulder and the course of treatment, I guess. Messiah Little says, have I ever what? Have I ever what? So yesterday I was talking about heading out to Jamie's and grabbing some comfrey and putting together a poultice with some what? Canadian Farmstead says I have to start the show with hey. So I was gonna stop out at Jamie's at Off-Grid Ping there, where we installed a shitload of comfrey over the last year, and grab some leaves. I grabbed some leaves, got home, started talking with Corey more about the poultice, about kind of how it worked for her, how long it took to work for her. It was like a repetitive. It took like a week-ish, and I realized that we have a jar of avocado oil with comfrey. Comfrey is actually still in the avocado oil. It's been in there for years. We actually did that on the farm. We packed it away with a bunch of other kind of medicinal emergency supplies, maybe some I think it's Everclear, actually. Everclear for making tincture, some comfrey infused avocado oil. I think we had some other stuff, but it was just packed away in a cooler that we kept. We wanted to keep the cooler when we hit the road to have an extra cooler. We put it fit in the garage fine underneath in the camper. And so we filled it up with all these kind of things you don't use all the time, but are handy to have, especially if things went sideways on our trip. So recently I was cleaning out the garage. I pulled that out. I kind of went through everything, deciding what we're going to take out, put it in the shed, what we can leave here, just to get some, the be all and end all was I was cleaning out the garage so I could put the boxes for my monitors in there. So when we move, I can put my monitors back in the boxes so they don't break. But I was able to find this cooler, and I went through it, took all the stuff out, kind of evaluated what we had, and Corey was like, "Oh, the comfrey oil. Maybe we leave that out." So I put everything else back, and it's been sitting on the table. She was using it for, I believe, for chigger bites, or mosquito bites, or tick bites, or something, helping relieve the itch. And I was sitting there, and I looked at her, and I said, what if I just, comfrey salve, basically you put avocado, or you put a carrier oil with infused with comfrey in with the paraffin wax and essential oils or whatever you want. And I was like, well, what if I just use the avocado oil and rub it on my skin and let it soak in? I imagine that's got to be the same, if not better, than mixing it with the paraffin wax. And so I decided to try that. Before the poultice. So Jamie, I'm sorry, I cut some leaves. I cut enough, maybe a little handful, and they're going to wilt away. I'm going to try to dry them here. It is super humid, so I don't know how well they'll dry. Hey, Zach. Oh, God. Fucking, what a bunch of assholes. What a bunch of fucking dickwads. Just the obsession with fucking gay in the vertical feed. That place is just a shit show dumpster fire. I know it's one person. People need better shit to do with their time. I said, like, people really need better shit to do with their time. But regardless, so I took a paper towel, dipped it in the oil, kind of spread it around my shoulder, let it soak in a little bit, and it was fantastic. There was no mess. There was no God. There was no poultice mess. Corey said that when she made the poultice up when she was using those in Minnesota, it would mix up. It would mix up. She'd put it on. It would be a mess to make. It would be a mess to clean up. And then if she wanted to leave it on long term, if you wanted to put it on long term and wear it like put it on overnight. So what you basically would make a paste out of the leaves and some flour and some water and spread it on your skin, and then use saran wrap or cellophane or something like that, and wrap it up to kind of hold it there, because it's a paste and it'll fall off. It'll get on shit. But she said if she did that on her shoulder when she went to sleep, and she rolled over, sometimes it would come off and make just a huge mess in bed. Pip's wondering, can you get paid for trolling on YouTube? We'll call it trolling for dollars. I don't know. I don't know if you could get paid for trolling on YouTube, but you sure as shit can get banned if it's just relentless and just doesn't stop. So it's just fucking retarded. Food Forest Farm says the children have been brought up in a gay culture. I blame the schools and the MS. I just find the fact that this one particular person or a few handful of people are just like, they think that's the biggest insult they can give me. I could give a flying fuck if you call me gay, straight, in between, upside down. Like, really? That's the worst you can come up with? That's your burn. Oh, you're gay. So fucking what? It might have been a diss. It might have been a diss back when it was frowned upon to be gay. But now that it's celebrated in every aspect of society, what fucking difference does it make? Wow, big man, you're gay. Fuck you. What a bunch of shit. Canadian Farm says, I mean, you were talking about rubbing yourself down with oil. I mean, Doesn't everybody before they to get with the one they love? Hunter says, yes, spread it on the skin. It puts the oil on the skin, or it gets the hose again. Canadian Farm said he could make a fortune trolling for dollars. Jim says the worst is old jokes, very hurtful. You should know all about old jokes. Oh, so anyway, a few applications of the comfrey oil. I put it on probably, I think I did, it might have been done it in the morning. I think it was 2 or 3. I put it on, let it soak in, and then later applied it again, let it soak in. And old man gay jokes are really rough. What's in between Jim's knees that's not in between anybody else's knees? His balls. So I used I think 2 or 3 applications of the comfrey oil. Again, put it on this morning, and it seems to be relieving a little bit of the inflammation. I think. I don't know yet. I did a bunch of computer work yesterday, and also went to Delinquent Scully. But I started using my jump starter. Happens to be the right thickness to put on my armrest to make my arm level when I'm using my mouse. So I think that helped a little bit. I think the comfrey oil, I've been doing some stretching, a little bit of movement to try to make it feel better. And I think that the inflammation's going down a little bit. I was able to actually get over 3 hours of consistent sleep at one point last night, and that was fantastic. So that's up from a max of maybe 90 minutes. So hopefully we're on the right track with the comfrey oil lowering that inflammation. I'm also really starting to focus on diet and seeing if I can find some stuff to cut out that might be helping the inflammation. So we'll see. I haven't gone the turmeric route. I believe we have some tea that has some turmeric in it. Actually, this is pretty gay, guys, but I was considering drinking some of Corey's woman's time tea, woman's time of the month tea. She's got period tea that is supposedly pretty good for things. And I think there's a bunch of stuff in there that actually helps with inflammation and maybe my crankiness. Jim's wondering what's rubbing on his ankle. One of his balls fell out of his banana hammock. Jesus. Oh, where did we go? Where do we go from here? Let me see. I had to move my fucking list because it was covering my face, and I didn't know I wasn't on live. Wilder Life says extra hydration with potassium or some Swiss chard. Let me grow some Swiss chard real quick. I don't think I've seen any at Kroger. Jamie said, in doing research on the sumac berries, I saw a few videos that said they have all the same quality as turmeric. Interesting. I believe we have a bunch of tea that's inflammation based. She also has I think it was from Angie's Garden, some fire tea or something. It's got all sorts of spicy shit in it that's supposed to help you with that. I think that's also a period tea. I don't know. Jim's afraid to stretch because something might break. Wilder Life's into the Staghorn sumac. Likes it because it's lemony. All right. For the list of the day, got a new shower. Corey and I ordered a new shower. Wilder Life was wondering if the period tea will make me spicy, but that's all right. I don't need to be spicy because I'm fiery. Fiery. It's not spicy. It's fiery. Get it right. So it's been a while that we've been using our outside shower setup. We have gone through, I believe, 2 of the pop-up tent style showers that we're using outside the camper because the camper shower is absolutely horrific. Once we got on the road, we were like, when we can figure out Hunter says fiery, not flaming. Why not both? That's for the vertical feed. Chim says you should start the show with that crown on and see what the vertical feed says. They'll probably call me gay. I could start the show with a black screen and they'd call me gay. Pip says, and what do gay cows eat? Hey! Oh, God. You see what you started over there in the vertical feed? Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Whatever you do with your penis and your mouth and your anus and whatever else you use is none of my business, and whatever I do with mine should be none of your business. No one fucking cares. So we've been using for quite a while the pop-up style camping tent, changing room. We've gone through a couple of this is the second style we bought. We rebought the same one, but we like the 2 rooms that have the door in the middle. You can have a dry room and a wet room. They're usually set up for like having a composting toilet or a camping toilet in one side, a shower in the other. We just use one to change and one to shower, and then we use the on-demand propane water heater and run the shower head through the door. It's worked really well. And the second style one that we got was actually cheaper. It was like $70, and we put it up. We really have enjoyed it. But with the recent storms, with the heavy winds, and just time in general, I think we got it in January. We got that one in January. Been about 6 months. 6 months. It's starting to get some wear holes in it. A lot of the tie down strings have broken, snapped from the landlord hitting it with a weed eater, me tripping over it in the dark, things like that. Hey, Cuphead bros. It's just starting to get beat up a little bit. And we don't want there to be coming into the rainy season, coming into some stormy season. We don't want to one day not have a shower. So Corey and I decided to spend the big money, spend the $70 to buy a new one, and reset it up. And we thought it'd be a great opportunity to take the one down that is currently there because it's still functional. I just don't know how long it'll last. And we decided to take it down, take it out to Delinquent Scully, set it up, which provides shower facility for campers that are coming out to work day. Working in the woods with the chiggers and the ticks and sweating. It might be warm, it might not. Getting dirty, this, that, and the other thing. When you're camping, it's really nice to take a shower. I was lucky enough to get a company that was sending me, what the hell were they sending me? A camping stove. One of the portable stoves, like the Jet Boil or the Fire Maple. I did a review on it. When they sent that, that's what I was interested in reviewing. I was talking to them, and they said, well, we have this camp shower if you're interested in that. Prior to that, Corey had bought one of the bag showers that you fill up, and it's black bag, and you hang it in the tree in the sun, and it warms up, and then it's just like gravity feed to a shower head. And that works all right. It works all right. But these folks wanted to send out this other one to test out, and it's a pretty cool little setup. It's a USB chargeable battery that like the base of it's probably that big, like 12.5 inches. No, like 6 to 8 inches. It's got a hose that comes off it, goes to a shower head. Basically, you press a button and it turns on a pump. You throw it in a bucket. And I was pleasantly surprised how much water it put out. The pressure, the back pressure, it was nice. Add in the fact that you could warm up some water on a campfire or a stove or whatever, or the Swander camp stove. Jet Boil, and make the water a little bit more temperate in the bucket, or you can just go cold shower. It's a really cool option. So Food Forest Farm says we got 2 of those for the festival. Rue Wilderlife, I said, yeah, she posted a video of their setup. They have a battery, deep stall, or a car or golf cart or lithium battery. I wasn't sure which kind of the battery was. But they have a battery set up with a pump. And that's eventually what we'll have at Delinquent Scully. It's not far off. It just won't be done before workday. But shortly after workday, once we have the dam project done at workday and we're able to pump up and fill a tote, it'll be no problem to run a RV 12 volt water pump and have pressurized water at the cabin, which is really exciting. So this is kind of a short-term thing. And then we have the bathhouse built already for behind the cabin. There's a 8x8 that we already have a shower pan, everything's purchased. It's in there that we're going to put a shower right in and enclosed. So the tent was perfect. It's like temporary. It's for this workday. And then hopefully by the next SRF, the next workday, or even Tim's next trip down here, we'll have the bathhouse pretty much done. The bathroom, the bathhouse is going to have a composting toilet, a shower, a small off-grid washing machine, or a high efficiency, low, like it's tiny. Becky already bought it. It's pretty cool. And then some storage. But that shouldn't be hard to finish, especially when we have pressurized water. And with the pressurized water, we're going to be able to use an on-demand water heater like we have here. So we're not far off from having hot water, cold water, hot and cold pressurized running water. Canadian Farmstead said bathhouse. That's going to get the vertical feed going again. Yeah, every time I fucking say it, guys, there is a very important announcement I need to make, though, just so you guys know. I wanted to alert you because we know how Amazon works, and sometimes things are there and then all of a sudden they disappear. It's very important. Last night, we watched Zoolander 2. Zoolander 2 is on Amazon Prime. If you have Amazon Prime and you've seen Zoolander 1 and you liked it at all, you should watch 2. If you haven't seen Zoolander 1, don't take my advice. It is a dumb comedy. It is stupid humor. It is I find it ridiculously funny. And the amount of people that they got to do cameos in that second one is unbelievable. Corey and I were watching it last night, and I'm laughing my ass off, man. It is. I think it's fucking funny as shit. But I kept looking at it. Canadian Pharmacist says Merman, Dad, Merman. No, that's Zoolander 1. This is Zoolander 2. The amount I just kept watching the different people show up in the movie, and I'm like, how did they find these people? Or not how did they find them? They're pretty famous people. How did they get them to agree to be in this shit show of a movie? It was fantastic. I think it's great. I think it's great. Just you got to be ready for the stupid humor. Some herbal supplements might help make it funnier. I don't know. But it's a continuation of the story of Zoolander 1. So if you've seen it, give it a shot. If you haven't seen it, I would suggest, and you want to take a trip down into the Zoolander rabbit hole, definitely watch 1 before 2. It'll make a lot more sense. There. That's my public service announcement. And hopefully I get to watch it again before it drops off Amazon Prime, or there is a possibility I might buy it depending on how much it costs. So I can watch it anytime I want. Corey's, I'm sure, excited about that. My movies that are my go-to style of movie when I just want to fucking forget about shit, when I don't want to think about anything, when I just want to zone out. I have a little list on there. It's basically like Talladega Nights, Step Brothers, Grandma's Boy, Beer Fest, Super Troopers, that kind of shit. Pip says they make a sequel to Zoolander, but not Firefly. Dude, Zoolander is a cinematic piece of art. It's a piece of work, all right. Oh, so definitely check it out. Let me know what you think. Have you seen Zoolander 2? Have you seen the second one? Have you seen the first one? Thoroughly impressed. So the shower's going out. To Delinquent Scully. Yesterday I headed out there. I needed to do some reconnaissance, basically. I wanted to see how the road fared through the heavy rains we had over the weekend because we didn't go out and stay. I wanted to go out and get a handle on fixing the bridge that's there to get to Tim's cabin to make it more accessible with my cart and supplies and stuff when we're going in and out. Put some ramps on there. I had a couple ideas, but I really needed to get some measurements and wrap my head around it and just think about it instead of, being out there to work and weed eat or do this, that, or the other thing and just look at it as I'm walking by and ponder it. I went out with a notepad, took measurements, and formulated a plan to convert it to have ramps instead of steps. And it's going to be interesting. It'll be an interesting little project. I think I got it figured out. Luckily, I got Jamie down at the end of the road, and he has a shitload of first cuts from milling, chainsaw milling, which I think will work really well. I think we'll see. But formulated a plan of that. I also kind of did a couple loops out there for a couple reasons. One was to test out the new boots I bought. I bought some new work boots for being out there. If you remember, I got a pair of cat work boots as a free trial sample. And when I got them, I said, man, these are $70 boots. They feel like $70 boots. They're pretty heavy. I'm more the $200 boot guy because I realized after 20 years in fucking maintenance and wearing work boots every day that if you spend some money on them, A, they last a hell of a lot longer, and B, they're higher quality. Your back doesn't hurt, your feet don't hurt, and it is definitely worth the money. But I understand, and I've been in many situations where you start a job and you don't have any money, and they're like, you need steel toe boots. I don't have any fucking money for steel toe boots. Can I do a week of work, and then when I get my paycheck, can I buy some? Because they're fucking expensive. I've been unemployed for X amount of weeks. I don't have any extra money to buy boots. At that point, a $70 pair of boots is a great option. That's what these are. They're an entry boot. They're heavy. They're not horrible. They're comfortable. But the cat boots definitely aren't a long term. If you have the money to buy better, buy better. But if you need to buy a $70 pair of steel toes, they'll suffice. Definitely not ideal for walking up and down the hills and on the trails and out in the woods at the project at Delinquent Scully. So I broke down, and I just ordered some. Hunter says I wore cat boots for a while. You wore them for a while. That's it, right? They were heavy. They were clunky. They made your back hurt. I mean, I've been through everything. I've been through all the boots. I find that the ideal price range for boots that hold up, that are worth the money, is probably that $180 to $220 $180 to $220 range. Hunter says more like factory floor boots. Right. You don't want to be walking around in them. If you're stationary at like a workstation, maybe. They did have pretty comfortable soles, so you might be able to get away with that. I've never been in that position. I've never been a stationary factory worker. I've always been in maintenance where you're running around everywhere. You're doing all sorts of shit, and heavy boots just don't work. And then being in the gas and oil industry, both the corrosive nature of the product I was working on, plus the concrete beats the living shit out of them when you're like climbing in and out of sumps and things like that. So these wouldn't have lasted a month in that job. But I found the ideal price range of the boots that I always wore was in that $180 to $220 range, was kind of the sweet spot. And they would last a year or more. They were comfortable, blah, blah, blah. I didn't think I needed that quality of boot for Delinquent Scully. I mean, really, I'm out in the woods. I'm walking on trails. I need more like a hiking boot, but I do a lot of construction type stuff out there. Also lumberjacking, dropping trees, moving shit, whatever. There's a lot of stumps. You're going to stub your toes. And as I'm walking around. And so I wanted a steel toe or a composite toe. And so I was thinking, what could I do? What could I wear that is like a and I think I talked about this a couple weeks ago when I ordered them. But I went with a tactical boot. And as I was searching them, I was like, I don't want to spend a ton of money. I don't know if this is going to be what I want to wear. So I want to spend more than the $70. I found I think they were like $120, $130. But Reebok. I hated Reebok tennis shoes when I was a kid. So I ordered these Reebok tactical boots, composite toe. They have a zipper on the side, so they have lace up front. They have the zipper on the side. I've never had a zipper side boot. It's pretty interesting. I've only worn them. I wore them around the house and for the dog walks one day, and then yesterday was the first day I wore them out at the property. So I'm still evaluating those. Off-Grid Ping says, did you mention the name of those boots? I spent all day on the cement floor well, that and jumping up and down off these giant hard tables. So would love some good boots. The boots I fell in love with eventually, that I bought multiple pairs of over, the 6 years I was at the working on gas pumps, were Irish setter Crosby style pull-on boots. So they were a cowboy boot kind of pull-on boot. They had protective coating on the toe, protective coating some other places. So like when you kneel down and your toes are on the concrete, that's someplace that a lot of my coworkers, they'd blow through the toes of their boots and they'd have the shiny steel from the steel toe shining through their boots, and then eventually it would just peel back and the boots would be shit. These had a protective coating there. They were light. They were comfortable. They were breathable. They didn't get too warm. I would suggest them. I think right now they're like 200 to 220. So Irish setters is what Crosby style Irish setters. They're made for harsh environments. They're chemical resistant. They're waterproof. They were perfect for my job for sure. Hunter says, side note, it's 6:30 and it's still dark. What is the time change? Isn't the time change in October sometime? November? I don't know. Time is just a construct of your mind. Get up whenever you want and show up to work whenever you want. Anyway, I popped out to Delinquent Scully. Got a plan formulated for the bridge. Tested out the boots. They were still comfortable. Not ready to give them a wholehearted review, but they're comfortable. And I bought them. These aren't freebies. I bought these. I also bought a new pair of barefoot shoes. And I went super cheap with those because I didn't know if I'd like them. I found like a $40, I think they were $38 or $40 pair of barefoot shoes that are fucking super comfortable. I hope they last. If they last, I was talking to Corey about it. I was like, at $35, at $40, whatever they were, if they last 6 months, I'll buy another pair. Because if you go the name brands of barefoot shoes like Zero and there's a few other ones, they're spendy. They're really spendy, and they don't last very well. If I can spend $40 and there's zero drops and they're not supposed to be whole bulky or anything, great support. They're actually supposed to be the opposite of that. These have a nice wide toe box. They do have a comfortable sole. And they seem pretty breathable. I've been wearing them without socks for the weekend, and I get sweaty, stinky feet when I wear boots and shoes without socks. Not yet. So that's good. That's good. So if they can last for a little while, I'll definitely recommend them. They were called like Grand Attack or something like that. Wilder Life says her $30 pair have lasted 2 years, just wore a hole in them. If I could get a $30 pair to last me 6 months, I'm all in. If I could get a $30 pair to last me 2 years, I'd be ecstatic. So I was out there at Delinquent Scully and I was evaluating kind of what I had to get done before workday. There's a few odds and ends I have to clear up. I really would like to fix the bridge. That was the focus of yesterday. I got to clear up some trails. I gotta do some clearing on some campsites as I get more and more people that are camping. But one main thing I have to do is drop like a half a dozen trees in the nursery area. It's the last of it. It's the last of the trees to clear. I cleared back all the brush and deadfall and blackberries and all the shit is all cleared out to the border we want. But there's probably a half dozen or more trees. Good morning, John Palmer. Good day to you. they just need to come down. There's too much shade. It's Carrie, when Carrie was out here and we were doing site evaluations for guilds and the nursery, I was like, I can't take down the, so there's two huge trees, two trees that I wouldn't even start to attempt to cut down. They have to be 36 to more, maybe 48-inch diameter trees, two of them right next to each other. And that is a lot of shade in the nursery. I think that's where we're going to plan to do mushroom logs in that shade out of the direct sun. But the rest of the nursery, if I drop these 6 to 8 trees, maybe 10, and they're smaller, they're probably 18-inch, 20-inch max, 18-inch, probably more. The majority of them are like 12-inch diameter trees. And then there's a couple of smaller ones that'll just buzz off at the ground. But if I drop these, it opens up a lot of sun and a lot of different areas in the nursery that'll be full sun, partial sun, full shade. And that's ideal for when we're trying to propagate a bunch of different types of plants and trees. So I was just thinking about dropping the trees, cutting them up, what to do with them. And I got thinking about stumps. And here in Tennessee, I haven't dealt with it a lot. Minnesota, I didn't deal with it a ton. The trees that I dropped in Minnesota, I didn't need to get the stumps out. They're out in the fucking woods. Texas, I saw what they did with the stumps there. Tennessee, like I said, I didn't know what the protocol here is. Minnesota, they would burn them out. They would wait till winter. They would soak them in diesel and burn out a stump. Light it on fire and just let it burn down. The roots burn out. Sometimes the soil would collapse in a little bit. You fill it in with some topsoil and plant your grass or whatever you want over top of it. Texas, they seem to do the same thing. They seem to burn them out. I didn't think that would be such a wise idea here, as dry as it is. And by the time it's wet enough, I think the wood would be soaked. And I don't want to be dumping diesel fuel in the nursery right next to the creek that potentially I'm going to be pulling water out of. Canadian Farmstead says drill holes and inoculate with oyster mushrooms. That is a definite possibility. And then I was thinking about digging them out. And without equipment, access to there, I was like, that's just an enormous job, digging these huge stumps out. The small ones will be no problem. I'll zip them off at the ground. If the roots or anything become a issue, I can pull them out. So I was kind of contemplating it and sitting there and thinking about it for a little while. And John Palmer says, make them useful. And he says tables. And that's exactly the route I went down. I talked to Carrie. I said, hey, guys, hey, Carrie, what do you do in Tennessee traditionally with stumps? Do you burn them out? I said, I just don't think so. I don't think it's ideal in these conditions. Do you pull them out? What are your thoughts on the particularly the ones in the nursery? Canadian Farm said the route you went down. And I said, this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking about cutting them off and leaving them maybe, since I'm so tall, I can handle a saw a little taller safely. And I'm thinking I want to leave them like 4 foot tall. These trees are like 30, 40 foot tall, 20 minimum, 20 plus. And I'm thinking I want to drop the tops off them, which is the hard part. We want to get the tops down before we start planting a bunch of stuff in there. So when we drop them, they don't land on anything that we're growing. Kill it, or any structures we build or whatever. It's why we're still clearing our spot and haven't put up a whole lot of shit at our site, was because we still have trees to drop and we don't want to ruin things. But if I only have a 4-foot trunk and I need to drop that, that's much more manageable. Even if you got stuff right next to it, you can make that happen. So I said to Carrie, I asked him, what do you think if I leave all those bigger diameter trees about 4 foot tall? And then when we get a picture of what we got, the layout of all of them, maybe we cut them off. We use the trunks, we use whatever, and we make benches, planting table benches, tables, like John Palmer said, seats, living river setup, all sorts of stuff. I want to get some totes up in the air for some water storage, and maybe we can build platforms out of that. So, Jamie, I'm guessing I'm going to have you down, hopefully at some point, milling me some planks to make some tables, some benches, things like that. Maybe on work day if you're going to be around. Maybe after work day, we'll have to work that out for sure. But definitely make some use out of these stumps. And Kerry thought the idea was great. He's like, if they're in the maple family, probably grow back, but nothing that isn't manageable. Nothing that isn't happening all over the property as I drop trees. Man, they're prolific. Corey was walking past the cabin, and I had cleared out the yard a little bit, but I had left the stumps. I hadn't gotten down to the ground, and there were probably 2 foot tall. They looked like bushes. She's like, what are those bushes? I said, they're not bushes, they're fucking trees. And you walk over and look at them. The original tree had like 3 or 4 trunks split out, maple family of some sort. And man, it put out like double that in shoots. And they were all about 2 foot tall and all leafed out, bright green leaves. And it just looked like a little bush there. So it would have been like 9 trees would have went up. It's crazy. But lopping them off is a once or twice a year occurrence. So that's kind of the plan with the trees. That's something I need to get done. Canadian Farm says I need a little chipper shredder. That makes the best mulch. Yeah. I've had a chip drop request open for 5 months now here. It's just not happening as far as it's not happening as far as the chip drop. I gotta go drive around. I see tree work going on all the time. I just gotta find some folks that are close to that property and have them start dumping chips, because literally we could use 50 dump truck loads out at that property. I don't know if a chipper shredder, I don't know how much we'll be able to get done with a chipper shredder. I don't think we're close. Unless we buy an industrial. Hey, Tim, would you squeeze into the project budget a industrial chipper shredder, please? Oh, so that was trip out to Delinquent's Gully yesterday. The road held up well. There's 1 or 2 spots. 1 or 2 spots that are not the best, but not horrible. But it's accessible still. It didn't wash out. So Canadian Farm says we can't get chip drop out here. Too many want the chips so the arborists can sell them. Yeah. Once people realize that it's a fantastic commodity and not trash, and it's a revenue stream. So that's the plan with the stumps. And beyond that, I want to start talking about the Grand Canyon. Rewilder Life posted in the chat. Before I get to that, the thumbnails. Mona, I appreciate you dropping a message in the chat about the thumbnail on Fountain. So I switched up thumbnails for both the YouTube stuff and the podcast feed. Jim over on Noster, sorry, missed that comment. He says he needs a boot that can take a cottonmouth bite. I'm curious. The Irish setters might, the Irish setter Crosby style might take a cottonmouth bite. But regardless, thumbnails. I switched them up, and I had some problems with the podcast host, and I needed to compress the file for the podcast art a ton. I don't know if that was the issue. If it was the black on brown, the color scheme, the font, I'm not sure what it was, but it's going to take some messing around with. The one today has a different font. It was saved different file type to make the size smaller. So I didn't have to compress it so much. We'll see how that looks. I might just end up for the podcast feed going back to the standard white and black and red, and just use the title and tagline with episode number. But anyway, Mona, I appreciate that. Guys, if you ever see anything like that, don't be afraid to just shoot me a message, put it in the group, whatever. Getting the feedback, I don't go and scrutinize my stuff as like I used to. I used to be very, very, very concerned about what it looked like. Then I kind of get to a standard where it works, and then when I change, I forget every place it goes, and I forget every place to check. So if you happen to listen or watch or think you have an idea to make things better for the show, for the art, for whatever, let me know. Maybe it's something I can do something about. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's something I've considered. It just doesn't work. Maybe it's too much time in the workflow. Who knows? But say something. If you see something, say something. If you see something, say something. But thanks, Mona, for mentioning that. I will. I'm going to change it up today. It'll probably be through the week. Who knows? We'll land on something that works. We'll land on something. And I got to start digging. I got to download all the podcast apps again and go to the different feeds because they all populate different. Podmatch, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Fountain, Podverse, they all populate different. So it's a matter of getting a good mix of what works and what doesn't. So thanks for looking out. Appreciate it. Grand Canyon. This isn't going to be a one-stop shop. This isn't going to be a one episode thing. It'll probably end up being a conspiracy theory topic for sure. But Rachel posted a video link in the Telegram chat about, actually, I believe it was a meme and then a video link about, and I've seen it popping around a bunch, and I've started to look into it. I didn't dive down the rabbit hole until Rachel posted it, but it's a picture of a lithium mine side by side with the Grand Canyon. And if you know what a lithium mine looks like, or you know what really any industrial large scale mine looks like, there's rings around the outside. It's how they access the bottom. As they excavate, they build roads, they dig a hole, they build roads, they dig more hole, they build roads, and it's kind of like concentric rings. The Grand Canyon looks like it. Like the pictures, I'm not going to lie, the pictures they picked and whether they were purposely picked or just happened to look alike, they look the same. Like if I showed you the two pictures and I said, hey, take a look at these two different lithium mines. I didn't mention anything about the Grand Canyon. I was just like, hey, look at these two different mines. And you'd be like, oh, why are you showing me pictures of lithium mines? They look similar. So the video started talking about why does it look like that? Did the Colorado River, which isn't like the biggest river of them all, cut this canyon in this shape only in this area, because it's not the whole Colorado River that gouged out like a canyon? Or did it kind of formulate by some other way? Was it an ancient mine? Was it not an ancient mine? Was it a mine in recent history? Pip says, where's this side-by-side pic? I can probably find it here in a second. But I was like, I can entertain this. This idea that it wasn't the Colorado River, that's not erosion. Natural erosion did not make this happen. So I started down the rabbit hole. Let me see. I'm not seeing it. I think it's back in the Telegram chat, Pip, but I'll find it. I'll find it for the next episode for sure. For sure. But I went to ChatGPT just to start tinkering with a little show prep for a conspiracy episode. And I said, hey, ChatGPT, are there any alternative theories as to how the Grand Canyon was formed? Canadian Farmstead said, the natural erosion idea without the flow being much, much greater for a long period of time did not make sense to me. Right. John Palmer, you are the fucking man. Sent me the pic. Here, let me see how to share this screen. Almost there, guys. I'll put it up in the vertical or in the main feed here. Here we go. I don't know if you guys can see that. Hey, Pip, if you can see that, that is the picture of so this is a copper mine versus the Grand Canyon. I've seen them with lithium mines. I've seen them with copper mines. They're all kind of pretty much the same. Anyway, so I asked ChatGPT, are there alternative theories? I said, give me several. And the first reply gave me 6 different options. And I was like, oh boy, this is going to be fun. I'm going to dig in. Basically, ChatGPT didn't have its tinfoil hat on. It said it could have been catastrophic flooding. It could have been tectonic uplift and subsidence, basically like a big earthquake. It could have been volcanic activity. It could have been wind erosion as opposed to water, river, probably a combination of both. It also could have been a meteor impact and or a subterranean cavern collapse. Well, that didn't satisfy me. I was like, well, that's all bullshit. There's nothing fucking... Mike Semstead says, how old was Noah when he was created? I don't know. How old was Noah? So I was like, I'm not satisfied with those answers. Hunter says that's the textbook answer on how canyons are made. Yeah. So me being me, I said, no. You misunderstood me. Are there any alternative theories other than natural geological events that could have caused the Grand Canyon? Possibly similar to mining operations. Jim says, anyone heard of Indiantown Gap in Pennsylvania? They say the creek cut through the solid rock mountain. No, I haven't heard of that, actually. So ChatGPT gave me another 4. Only came up with 4 this time. But we're going to go down those roads, and this is just a primer for a conspiracy theory topic. But the 4 that they came up with when I changed my question were ancient Egyptian and Tibetan civilizations. A popular alternative theory suggests that ancient Egyptians or even a lost Tibetan civilization might have explored North America and mined the Grand Canyon. The theory gained some attention due to the article published in 1909 by the Arizona Gazette, which claimed that an explorer discovered evidence of Egyptian-like artifacts, tunnels, and even gold within the Grand Canyon. Dun, dun, dun. You guys know there's places you can't go in the Grand Canyon, right? You're not allowed. You're not allowed to go. The second one that it gave me was Native American mining. Some proponents of alternative theories suggest that ancient Native American civilizations, such as the ancestral Puebloans, might have used the Grand Canyon as a mining site for valuable minerals, including copper and gold. Canadian Farm says, didn't know they found Egyptian artifacts in the Grand Canyon. The Smithsonian came in and took them all away. They all disappeared. Food Forest Farm says the Phoenicians might have sailed over and mined it. Yeah. The third ChatGPT answer was Native American mining. Nope. Sorry. Prehistoric high technology civilization. Another speculative theory poses that a prehistoric, technologically advanced civilization could have mined the Grand Canyon for resources. Proponents of this theory argue that the canyon structure and presence of certain geological formations could be the result of ancient quarrying or mining activities. And the fourth one that it gave me, just as a sample topic, and I'll dive in farther and get some more details, but extraterrestrial influence. Some fringe theories even go as far as suggesting that extraterrestrial visitors may have mined the Grand Canyon for precious minerals. These ideas often tie into larger ancient astronaut theories, where proponents claim advanced beings from other planets influenced ancient civilizations and may have used Earth's resources. Wilder Life says the Boneyard, Alaska, the Smithsonian. Yeah, the Smithsonian. The government would always display everything that they find. Canadian Farmstead said ancient civilizations mandated that all vehicles be electric by 2245 BC. Causing the collapse of their civilization. Maybe they just needed it to get the fuck out of here, whatever they were mining. Man, there is a rabbit hole for sure. If you guys want to go down the Anunnaki, I believe it's how you present it, how you pronounce it. Anunnaki. Yeah. I have yet to wrap my head around it enough to speak coherently about it. Here, I'll put it on the screen. Anunnaki. I've heard a million people say it. I've watched a bunch of videos on it. It'll be fun to talk about at some point. Hunter says, are they still gardening the portal? Maybe. But anyway, that was a little fun with ChatGPT. It went kicking and screaming to give me the fact that there may be other options than geological formation. Rewild Life says, or the Nephilim. Yeah. There's too much. Food Forest Farm says, unless they fake the thousands of years of old scrolls in the caves, I'll take that as a true story, true history. I mean, there is a lot of unanswered questions when you start objectively looking at some things that can't be altered. There are a lot of questions that come up when you start decoupling yourself from what you were force fed about the history of the world in school, like the indoctrination we talked about yesterday. There are a lot of, it poses more questions than it answers. People always, the biggest question I recall about history that was always posed was, how did the Egyptians build the pyramids? How did they move all these blocks? How did they do this, that, and the other thing? I don't think that the theories that actually make the most sense were ever posed. They talked about using water and the sand and lots of people and this and, you know, the stuff that you heard. I don't think that the theories that really resonate with me make sense. They also didn't talk about all the pyramids all over the world. It's fucked up. Food Forest Farm said, I don't think there's a bunch of nonfiction writers back. I don't think there are a bunch of nonfiction writers back in 2000 BC. Canadian Farm says, did you read some guys won a prize for using AI to decrypt X-rays of scrolls that can't be opened? No, but it doesn't surprise me. Food Forest Farm says, I always felt lied to in history class. I felt lied to. I felt like they glossed over a lot of things and just moved on at a rapid pace. So you didn't like critically think of like when they got to an impetus, a turning point that maybe the victors wrote the history instead of actually what happened, that they would accelerate the lesson plan. That instead of allowing students to think critically about what they just said, it was like, yep, they did this and this is what happened. All right, let's move on. Instead of, wait, why would it go that way? And then memes make you think. The scourge of the internet, the meme, has more power to make people think and question things than ever. They don't have to be true. They don't have to be factual, but man, they can make you think. I saw one the other day that talked about what if the American Revolution wasn't about decoupling from the king, but to realize that we needed to have a workforce here to start a new economy. It just went down a road like that. That's not even a good synopsis of what it said, but interesting thing to think about. Jim says the warehouse scene at the end of Indiana Jones should have awakened more people, right? Hunter says no one questions who made the American pyramids. Propaganda. Food Forest Farm says, so you didn't ask questions of depth. I didn't give a fuck enough in high school. All I wanted to do was pass the test and move on. Canadian Farm said in with a fantastic point. Bitcoin is a pyramid scheme. And he says he's fighting the NWO one meme at a time. Oh, we got a lot to talk about. Guys. I'm excited to hopefully have some time to chat with CJ Kilmer at SRF. CJ hosts the Dangerous History podcast, which is it's fantastic. If you want to start thinking, check out a few episodes of the Dangerous History podcast. CJ does a really good job with it. It might not be deep enough of a rabbit hole for you, but man, he puts the time in and does a fantastic job covering the shit in history that doesn't get covered. CJ Kilmer is going to be there. Bear Independent's going to be there. Jack Spirko, John Willis, Nicole Sauce, and plenty more. I can't even start to list the presenters. I looked at the list yesterday. It is big. So if you're thinking you want to head out to Camden in a couple weeks, Camden, Tennessee, October 5th and 6th, scroll down into the video description, the audio description, grab the link, hit that, pick up your tickets. If you can't make it and you'd like to listen to these presentations, to see them, to have access to the recordings after the fact, you can also go there and grab a digital pass. Digital pass is stupid cheap for what it is. Check it out at the link, like I said, below. I'll get a little credit for you buying it through my link, and definitely 100% worth it. This is my 5th or 6th SRF. If I keep going back, there's a reason. Oh, and Kyle. Canadian Farm says, and Kyle. He'll be there. Rewild Life says, we started questioning a lot when I started teaching. Light bulb moment. Now, yeah, I'm not even going to go down that road. It's 17 after. I got to get wrapping up and get moving on with my day, guys. That was a fun show. I enjoyed hanging out with you guys and talking. Hold on one second. Jim says, hey, since I'm celebrating good news about my Kathy's brain surgery that is now off, fantastic news. Jim sent me that news yesterday. It made my day. Not that he says he's going to be zapping all over Fountain and Noster. Come get in on the action. Man, Jim said he might be able to make SRF, which is fantastic. I was excited about that. I like seeing everybody in person and shaking your hand, having conversations face to face. But that's insignificant. That was inconsequential in the message. When he told me that his girlfriend, Kathy, wasn't going to have brain surgery, that her health is improving, that things are looking good for her and a lot less stressful for both of them, that's what was important to me. That made my day when he sent me that message. Take care of your community, guys. Think about them. If they're having struggles, if they're having problems, keep them in your thoughts. I told him, I'm a pastor. I'm a ordained minister in the Church of Dudism and another one that I don't even remember the name of. I can put a word in with the spiritual world, guys. I got a direct line of communication with the Great Flying Spaghetti Monster, so keep your folks in a loop. Think about your folks that are having a tough time. And if you're having a tough time, if you got something going on, you got worries and struggles, and you listen to this show, you got community that'll take care of you, that'll think about you, that are there for you to talk to. Don't be afraid to reach out. I don't think there's anybody in my group, in this community, in the communities that we're associated with, that if you have a problem and you reach out and say, hey man, I need somebody to talk to, I don't think any one of them would turn you away. Maybe Jim didn't need to talk about what he was going through with Kathy. Maybe not. But when I heard that news, that made me excited. So it's pretty cool. It's great to be a part of, and I only have all of you to thank. When you talk about building a community, obviously you can't do it by yourself. So I appreciate all you guys. I like to hear when you guys have good news or, help you get through bad news. So Jim says, I'm pretty sure it was the crystal in my Food Forest Farms coffee order, but who knows? So anyway, guys, I appreciate you all. It's Tuesday. Get out there, get some fucking shit done. Make some progress on something, think about something, come up with an invention, work on something you're working on. Make your fucking life better. Make your life better. Make it a great day. Make it a great day, and we will catch up with you tomorrow morning.